unhumane.
You talking about the super after Katrina?
Yeah,
Yeah, a lot of people
bro.
say. Yeah, a lot of people said that
It
shit
was
was
fuck that Superdome
it was
shit. Like
madness.
that shit
Okay,
scarred them for
Katrina.
life.
Katrina is the perfect example, right? Because I work with a couple people that survived Katrina, right? And they said how they were wandering on the freeway for a couple days, and it was end of the world scenario for those folks. What do y'all saw what happened and how quick things turned left for everybody there, right? What do y'all do if the grid goes down and they start rounding up black people? What do y'all do? Because right now, everybody's on here having conversations about women not submitting, about niggas being
Yep.
dusty, about passport
Yep.
bros,
Yep.
about
Yeah.
the 4B movement, and
Yep.
the federal government, and in its subsidiaries is telling people, yo, there may be an imminent cyber attack that may take down the grid. That's what I'm hearing from the government. That's the government telling me.
Nigga, nigga, look at these ships crashing into bridges. There's
Nigga,
already
ships,
three of them, and I'm
nigga,
like, that shit got to be cyber attacking, bro. Because three,
ships
like, ooh,
crashing into bridges, three of them. Okay, that sounds like some type of attack, right? You already have one major, you know, port that's been affected by that Baltimore bridge situation, right? So let's say the grid goes down, where black people on here constantly talking about, oh, this nigga ain't shit, oh, bitches ain't shit, right now, because I can literally go on most lives right now, and that's literally the conversation.
yep.
Literally. What y'all gonna
Mm.
do? What okay. Alright, that's worst case scenario. Grid goes down, apocalyptic shit, da da da. Right? That's worst case. But let's say, even in the short, and I personally believe that's gonna happen probably sooner than later. That's just what I'm getting from with all these ships crashing into bridges, and April 8th niggas is tripping about this, all this bullshit, right? But let's say none of that happens. We get to the election, right? And they say Donald Trump can't be president. He can't run for president, or he can't be president, right? There's a lot of people in this country that are ready to snap off if that happens. You understand? And there's a lot of people that are misguided in their thinking as far as the culture that the United States government and the powers that be that have been pushing over the last 10 years, and what black culture is. You understand? That's why you get this whole people that can't separate woke culture from black people. They just can't. Just can't. They can't. They can't do it, right? Whereas
You're right.
woke originally meant, at least within the black community, being conscious of the powers that be, the oppression that goes on within the black community, being woke, being conscious. The conscious community. We had a whole community called the
The
fucking
conscious community.
conscious community, right? So
Yep.
that's what that
That's why they
was.
hijacked that shit so hard.
But woke became all the other bullshit that's attached with, you know, oh,
Mm.
inclusiveness and
Yeah.
equality and all that, right, right.
But you see how it's hijacked?
But
Like
exactly.
everything else.
So
Everything
it
else.
completely deaded the conversation that we were having, at least within the conscious
Hmm.
community, about the powers that be, the things that vex the black community and everything that happens, in that case. But now it's devolved into who ain't submitting, who ain't got no money, who ain't eating at Applebee's, who ain't eating at Cheesecake Factory. It's stupid shit, right? Right? And then at the same time, right, I can go into a lot of these other lies, and I can hear people talking about these what if scenarios if the election doesn't happen, if the grid goes down. What do y'all have prepared? I have a garden over here. What our conversations are not that. Black men and women are getting on these platforms, especially on fucking TikTok, and all they're saying is you ain't shit and you ain't shit. And that's a problem.
There you go. That's all I'm saying. Because even if y'all want to be quote unquote mortal enemies, talk about some other shit aside from
I
that.
don't I don't think though, because I think that it's intellectually dishonest to say, oh, you shouldn't make videos pointing out ratchetness, or you shouldn't point out fuck shit. No, you should point it out. Like, I think the conversations still need to be had when Sukihana makes a song called "I'm Selling Coochie." Come on, Right. That's
But watch this. Watch it. 1,000%. I didn't even know Sukihana had a song like that because I'm just not in that fucking bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like niggas will get in here and be like, oh, yeah, all I see is this, all I see is that. It's like, nigga, you're training your algorithm, so when you're clicking on that shit, that's what's popping up.
and I see a lot
There
of
goes
ratchet.
Sukihana.
I see ratchet internet. It's true.
I,
It's true.
you know what? You want to know one of the things where I stopped seeing ratchet internet is because I stopped if everything World Star. I stopped. Like,
Oh, I don't
I
go to
don't
World
go to
Star. I
World
can't.
Star.
World.
World Star is
Nah,
blocking
I don't do.
I
I don't do
certain
World
things
Star.
because I saw how destructive
I
it
don't.
was.
I don't.
Being,
I
you
don't
know what
do.
I mean?
I don't do World Star because every time I would go on World Star, I would get triggered. And it's almost the same way with Twitter. I don't do Twitter every day. I go on Twitter every so often. Like I go on
And
Twitter
and I
because
curated my Twitter enough where like pretty much my feed is like the like kind of the topics that I want to see. It'd be,
my
a couple
shit.
video
I get
games.
on
It'll be
there. I get on Twitter and I get pissed off like every time. Every time I'm like this shit is crazy. It gives me content, but at the same time, sometimes that shit is just like it ain't even content I can use. It's just shit I'm just watching. It's just like this is fucking toxic.
ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like or like yeah, like when they be showing like the dumb shit that I show speed, like whatever account is like constantly pushing that, I just block the shit. Like, cause
Yeah,
I'm not,
I hate saying
and
that
if they're
shit.
trying to
Aiden
fucking see,
Ross, I
yeah,
show
exactly,
speed,
yeah,
any of them boys, like I
exactly.
don't want to see that shit.
So same difference with like Sukiyana. Trust me, I know what you're saying, but I'm laughing like them even having songs like that is just crazy. Like even with my XM radio subscription, I stopped listening to the rap channels and I'll listen to like the rock channels like from a lot of the rock that we grew up on and pretty much
She
talk
like,
radio
she
because
like, I'm
everything else.
selling coochie. I'm selling coochie.
Yeah, and you know me, I'm never that nigga about like, oh, blame it on the parents, but yeah, like if your kid is in there listening to that, you don't have to go in there and tell them, hey, you cannot listen to it, but you go and talk to him. You be like, that shit's ridiculous, right? Just like human to human,
I'm
like you could be
selling
in here diddy
coochie.
bop into this shit, but like it's ridiculous. Okay, as long as you understand it's ridiculous, like. But like your kid like nah. When I grow up, I'm gonna sell pussy. Like
But
whoa.
what if subconsciously that's planting a seed, especially in a young girl's mind, obviously,
Absolutely in it.
that's like
Absolutely in it.
if worse come to worse, I'm selling coochie. You know what I mean? Like worse comes to worse, I'm out here
What's
selling
fucked up?
cat.
And if you ask me my honest opinion about it, you do everything in your power to make sure that your child doesn't come to that worst case scenario where they are selling pussy.
You know
'Cause
what's
that shit's
crazy?
ridiculous.
Did you know that even chimps sell pussy? Ain't that crazy? Like,
I've
ain't
been
that
hearing
crazy,
about
right?
those bornable monkeys. Like when they meet another tribe, like they be having like orgies and shit, and
Yeah,
they be doing
they
they be doing the
nigga,
wildest shit. So
nigga,
like it's funny,
they
but it's
use
not.
because protein, especially meat protein, is a valuable asset amongst chimp cultures. So if they have meat, sometimes they can sell meat for pussy. They can literally trade meat for pussy. Like, and the woman will sleep with him for some meat.
Yeah, but like that.
So they selling coochie too.
That's wild. Like I gotta admit
They
that's a
selling
ooh,
they
damn.
selling coochie too. They really out here selling.
Holy
There's even a video
fuck.
out here of these lemurs getting high off of millipede, and that shit is hilarious,
Yeah.
bro. Them
But
niggas are getting faded off that shit.
even when you see like a person like give like a crab a joint and then the crab like smokes the joint and then you can see the crab isn't like you can see the crab is like, all right, yeah, let me get another hit of that. Like it's so crazy to kind of see like animals like have like very like just un like you don't think that an animal would do this type of shit, but they be doing it. And you be like, what the fuck? Like, yo, like these niggas is out of control.
But what do you think would happen though, literally, if the grid went down and they started rounding up black people? What do you think black people would do?
I mean, it would go back to that where niggas is in constant hiding and shit and running and trying to fucking, develop networks underground to try to escape it. But like, that's the fucked up part about it. Like that's why like when I say about the world targeting black people as a whole.
Mm-hmm,
Like
mm-hmm.
you got to think about it. Like if it, like right now, like just imagine. Let's just go deep hypothetical because I'm not trying to go into like the one where it could just be crack off of like reality. But just
Okay.
imagine like there was that. All right, siren goes off, and then all races are now fucking attacking black people. It's like that's what black people need to understand. Community with them is way more actual community than it is with other people. White people just live in a community together, but they're not hanging out at each other's houses and shit like that, and constantly like like this big community. Like when have I ever been driving through Orange County and I was like, oh, I can't drive down the street because there's a block party and all the White Houses are over there, kids with streamers and barbecuing and fireworks and all that shit like that. You've never seen that, but like I remember back in the Midwest, thinking like that the whole street blocked down and everybody fucking out in front.
I think that's Western white people though, because in the South and in the Midwest, white people do that. Like we would open the fucking, like when I lived in like the white neighborhoods, we would open the goddamn, what is it called, the fire hydrant and shit, and everybody
Yeah,
come out and play and shit. Like, but I think it's just like more of a, I think that's more of a California thing where like, you know what I'm
oh
saying, like
sure,
where there's like a lack of like
but that's what I'm. But my
community
point
amongst
is,
white people, I should say. I ain't gonna
but
say that they don't have no community. They obviously got some community because their community is fucking crushing ours. Like, come on, that's why we've been having this conversation. Because if this scenario happened, right, their community, regardless of whether or not they having block parties or not, are still running this shit. You feel what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
And
yeah,
whereas our community, what did you just say? We running, we hiding, we scrambling, that's the problem. You see what I'm
and that's
saying? Like that's
because
the issue.
and that's
We
what I'm
can
saying
have all the
because
Negroes.
we don't have community like that. You know what I'm saying? Like
Why?
we don't. Um, honestly, like
Hmm.
it is hard to operate when you have literally the amount of societal pressures that a black person has on them. Period. Like it's just hard. Like one of the things where you said like yeah, like you can't tell what's up or down, what's left or right, like what actually does make sense, and then you couple that amongst like the fucking societal pressures of being a black person when you're not amongst black people, makes the shit even worse. And then even when you do live in a black community, how much your black community is targeted makes it worse. Like it's like the gangs in Los Angeles wanting to protect their communities and shit like that totally got twisted and misinterpreted and turned into something totally different. When like I don't imagine anybody who was like, yeah, we're gonna look out for our block was like, oh, we're gonna fucking just destroy this fucking neighborhood. Didn't
Right,
start like that, but somehow
right.
that's where it ended.
That's where it ended. Right. It ended up into like these slum situations where a lot of people are still victimizing their own community. Right. Because the
Yeah.
people that kill the most black people are black people. Right.
But like I said, I think it's all the societal pressures. Like it's that it's
Whatever,
societal pressures, economical pressures, all that. Like
whatever reasons you want to put on it, right? But like it has to be a concrete reason as to why it's happening, and there has to be a concrete solution in order to stop it. Because for too long, at least within my lifetime, we would say, "Oh, our community, oh, we letting a lot of niggas victimize our community, right? Right? That's what we let them do." And then we, once again, as the children that we are, because I can't sit up here and pretend that we aren't, we ask the government to sit here and protect us from ourselves, right? That's what we do. We ask the courts. We say there needs to be laws. There needs to be this. They need to come in there and fix these streets. That's what we say. I hear it. I literally hear it all the time. What do they need to provide our communities in order for us? We don't have this. They need to right? Who did they ask for anything? Who did they ask for power? They didn't ask anybody for power, and we're still asking them for power. You don't get power by asking for it. That's the point. That I get what you're saying, and you're not wrong in this assessment that there's been an asserted effort by the dominant culture in order to like splinter our community and put us into this
absolutely,
fractured
that's
state.
exactly why
Right.
they say black people, quote unquote, are the bomb. Like it's a collective. It's a collective consciousness agreeing to that and pushing against it.
It can't end there. It's not the collective consciousness. It's the reality. It's what we face. You just said yourself. that around the world were hated. You got all these Indian people coming out saying, yeah, it's places in
Niggas don't
India
even
you
be in
can't
Africa.
right.
African
So
niggas don't
so
even
right,
be in
you
India.
even got idiots coming out saying, oh, they hate niggas and shit right there, like right. So so there's obviously like a thing, right? There's obviously like this pervasive hatred
Yeah, oh
throughout the
yeah, okay, I
world
get it.
to even
It's above a conscious. It's a reality. It
it's
is.
a reality, right? It's a reality that we live in. So in that reality, how do we deal with that reality going forward? Because whenever these conversations have, it goes back to the conversation I was telling you once again when I was saying about my mom and like the system is what they should do. What should be is absolute. We can all agree what should be. We can all agree to at least a certain degree on this somewhat egalitarian society where everybody's bellies are full with bread and there is no racism and all this. Unfortunately, that's not what we live in, right? And unfortunately, we live in a reality where we as black people are conquered people, right? And black people that when we're having this conversation, we're not talking about this conversation as conquered people. We're talking about we're talking about this conversation from a standpoint of people that are equal or from that even have some type of footing whatsoever, right? In that society, in the dominant culture, right? Of course, you can have some upward mobility within that culture, but as far as you being a mover and shaker within that culture, that's not going to happen. That's what a lot of my political contemporaries don't understand. I'm saying like people that are conservative and stuff. They believe just because they have bread on the table that it's equality for everybody. That's not the truth. That's not even close to the truth, right? There are economic conditions that people come from that do make it hard for them to, ascend beyond their standing. I understand that. But we're talking about as a whole, right? We're a conquered people, and as a conquered people, we're intelligent enough to sit here and have these conversations and say we are conquered people. We have been a conquered people. We continue to be a conquered people, and yet we still within being a conquered people, we hurt ourselves, right? And we can say for all the reasons, oh, we're a conquered people. That's why we hurt ourselves. Okay, we have that understanding. But going forward, once again, what do we do to change it? We can't ask the dominant culture to police our community because obviously that's not what their quote unquote justice is. Not that. It is a machine that is meant to grind human beings, not just black people but people in general, into the dust, right? That's what it's designed to do. We understand that. But within our own ranks, right, within our own community, there are ways to police ourselves and keep that from happening, right? There's already a stigma within the community that victimizing the community is wrong, even amongst the people that do it, right? We know that it's wrong. It's not like this is like something that, it's not like we have to create a stigma, right? That's a place we could start from with that stigma that we all understand that it is wrong to victimize your own community and that the community has to be strong. Those who damage the community should be punished and not by popular law. I'm sorry. I think this is where it starts, right? And I say that in the sense that
100% policing your own community.
Not just policing it, but enacting justice. You understand?
Exactly.
Like there tribunals, fucking inquisitions, and the such in order to keep certain things from happening. Because if you sit there,
like I watched some of the gangs in LA where they're like, all right, yeah, fuck it, like box it out and that's it. Like versus fucking being like, oh, let's fucking shoot each other and cause like just fucking.
No. If we gonna get together for a boxing match, you understand it's gonna be some type of sanctioned situation, some type of fundraising situation to where everybody can enjoy it, to where nobody's gonna go home. And I know in their situation nobody goes home hurt. I know I've seen it. But I'm saying it can't just be that. It's just, that's the because
no, I'm not saying that. Oh yeah,
because that's the equivalent. That's the equivalent of niggas throwing dice in the street. You understand what I'm saying? It can't be that. I'm talking about deep cuts. I'm not just talking about policing just the streets. Oh, you get a couple gangbangers off the street, or you scare a couple gangs, out of their operation or whatever. That's not enough. You understand? Like what I'm saying to you, like that it's not enough. What I'm talking about is for the people, once we talk about the people that bring the things into our culture that we don't want, the people that do take advantage of the people in our culture, our music, our way of being, our people, those people are not immune to that justice either. You understand what I'm saying? But we don't do that. You understand what I'm saying? Because we don't have that cohesion. At one time, the Italians were able to raise their standards because they had that cohesion, right? They were able to put together what we call mobs, and we even idolized their mobs for even being able to do that, to be able to have enough cohesion within each other to infiltrate the fucking police, the FBI, all kind of shit, in order to keep their operations and to keep their people together. And even though some of them went down, the heads, the figureheads and stuff that started it, their kids still live high on the hog. Their kids still benefit. They built legacies for their kids on their blood, sweat, and tears, even though it was through what is been called organized crime. Within that community, there was taboos and certain things that you didn't cross within that type of crime. We don't have that. It's a bunch of niggas taking money from wherever the fuck they can get it and spilling blood wherever they can without any rules, right? Without any law, without there being even a sense of justice amongst the thieves within this fucking slum that we call a fucking ghetto or whatever. It's just niggas trying to come up. And to come up into what? Into this machine to be rich? I'm gonna tell you with me personally, Kanye West and what happened with Kanye West showed me that I don't give a fuck about their money and being successful in their system because it doesn't mean anything. Look at even what happened to Candace Owens, a person that was able to speak her mind against the black community as much as she did, right? She was able to literally make a career saying, speaking about the black community, speaking about other communities, being a controversial conservative, had no problems. But when she spoke about the wrong community, what did they do? They annexed her, right? They got her up out of there. They said, fuck this. You're done here. You're out. Right? And we're gonna try to ruin you, just like they did Kanye. They're able to do that, right? We don't have that power. That's the type of power I'm talking about. Niggas, nobody fears black people. Nobody.
Like I
Nobody.
But that's what I'm saying. I honestly can't tell you how in this 2024 era, how I can't figure out how black people get to that point.
I can sit here right now and say, oh, we have Chinatown here. There's, we have, Japanese parts. And I can literally sit here and tell you right now the Yakuza runs this part. And every black person would respect that without even knowing anything about the Yakuza. They just know Yakuza. That's all they got to hear. Like, oh, we're going to respect this block because the Yakuza's here. You see what I'm saying? Like, we'll respect it. Every white person will respect the block. But with black people, nobody respects us. They say, oh, it's the Crips here. All we gotta do is call the police on these niggas. They going to prison. Now, you know what I'm saying? Nobody respects us. We're, and why would they when we're constantly fucking destroying ourselves? And that's what I'm saying. That's why I say it starts even before we even start talking about attacking a machine. It literally starts with getting the house in order and the troops in order and being like, yo, the conversation, at least, without even talking about gangs or nothing like that, just a conversation, just how we started this. The conversation has to change. It can't just be black people on here talking about fucking submitting and leaving the country and movements and shit. Like, this is crazy.
Like, just dumb shit, you know? Like vapid shit. But that's the problem. Is like the allure of the division, right, and the allure of those conversations, it gravitates more people into it because it's just this hyper fantasy of, like, quote unquote what if, and these are like what if scenarios that they can see. But like the what if scenario of like what if fucking there's the grid goes down shouldn't be quote high fantasy for you. That shit should be like reality, because in reality the economics, like, pretend like economics are a grid. There's blackouts all over for black people. There's dead ass places where if a black person goes and puts in an application, no electricity, no burn, no, will not get into that fucking field. Will literally be pushed out of it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So, like,
Absolutely.
The fact that like
and we know this now. So what do we do?
Aren't on a higher the fact that niggas aren't on a higher conscious to even go past this shit, instead having infighting is just like I see them, they'll be having this infighting, and then like somebody will bring up like Russia, and they'll be like, yeah, what are they really trying to distract us from? Nigga, y'all are the distraction right here.
Right,
having
right.
A 3-hour conversation about fucking a woman who has a single kid trying to be out on a dating market. Like, what? Are you serious, nigga? When 90% of y'all niggas in here date women who are fucking with kids. Like, fuck out of
Well,
here.
of course
So
they
like
do,
that's what it's
because
saying. Is
niggas is
but
everybody got
what's
kids.
fucked up? But what's fucked up about it is the reality is that when black people start at a economic um
I'm s-
discrepant economic discrepancy, right? That if they can see a little bit of change from having that stupid ass conversation, that's where they are. Because same with Candace Owens, she was getting that bread off of that shit, and she was just dishing it out, dishing it out. You see what I'm saying? It sucks that literally there's more money funneled into disparaging the community than there is uplifting the community. And we know that it's outside forces that are doing that. Like this TikTok shit and the fact that these lives are promoted like that, nigga. Like after a week of just going on those lives, it throws me into the same bucket, right? Now, like it's rare that I'm thrown, oh, black video game guy or a black fucking blender artist or black barista at work.
no,
Like
they
I'm
ain't
not
gonna.
throwing
They
in
not
any of
putting on
that
that
shit.
shit because
It's
they don't
just
promote
all
that
this.
shit.
It's all this shit. It's all this shit.
One,
So like that's what I'm saying. Like regardless, even if you want to just take away like the color of it for just a split second, look at what we're at when it comes to the information highway. They literally build exits to push us off to not go towards the actual destination. And when you get off of that information highway exit and then there's a fucking Waffle House there, niggas is dead ass sitting at this Waffle House having this conversation instead of getting back on the freeway and continuing towards the destination. To stay with the analogy, but it just sucks because like say for instance when I'm saying this, if you just think about how other people can kind of just sit back and relax, like like other groups of people kind of low key just get to just sit back, but as a black person you're attacked in every single way, economically, spiritually, fucking in your community. uh Outsiders from your community come into your community is it's just insane. And it's like I see it, but like like with the main question that you're asking, I'm like I don't know how you I don't know how right now in 2024 we build ourselves up to get to the level of what you're talking about. It's a lot of interfering,
and
bro.
that's
Like
and that means the hour is late. The hour is very late because like I say, that grid go down. What do we do? Like everything, even if it's not like I say, even if it's not worst case scenario, let's say you want to rewrite history. Even we don't have no say in it. We just going along with the ride. We going
yeah,
along.
yeah.
We've always been the niggas that just place, and we just go along with the ride. You know what I mean? Like, and that's even Africa don't even control their resources.
But
They're
but
trying to
but see
kick
that's
France. They're trying to kick France out now and all that. They don't control shit.
but but that's like this is like what my like kind of harp on, and like this is like the thing that I like to just wish that like if I could communicate to every black person is like this is what they did deliberately. Everybody sat down at a table and literally said, "All right, push the black people off of this table." Like,
You think
how
that
the fuck
happened?
do you? Yes, like look at like
So those would be
how the
those.
fuck do how the fuck do Indian niggas hate African Americans? How are Indian like when as a black person,
So those will
a
be
African person go over to India and do anything that would make like a whole country that's thousands and thousands of miles away from them fucking be like, yeah, them niggers. Like
So
what?
those
Like
so
what?
those so those people would be the gods then, right? It wouldn't be just a group of people, right? Because no group of people is that fucking cohesive. You
No,
can't sit there and tell me that all of the fucking world got together at
no.
one point.
A group of people are that cohesive because everybody on this planet is like bows to fucking capitalism. Every single person, they all do.
Right, but what makes people
These niggas,
what makes people bow to capitalism, though?
in my opinion, it's the fact that they worship resources. Like, and it's like there's so many
Don't but
resources
don't but
on this
don't
planet. You don't have to
but
worship
don't but
resources.
don't but don't we all like is it capitalism that we mad at, or is it the fact that we live in a real fucked up technocracy that uses capitalism in a way that fucking is
Oh,
very disparaging? Because think about it, without capitalism, as far as the entrepreneurial thing that you would want to do, let's say you wanted to sit there, you wouldn't be able to do that. That's not how that, you understand what I'm saying? So I understand the gripe against this neo-capitalism fucking over
Yeah,
corporatized work because it's the corporations, bro. Think
yeah, but
if you took the corporations out of it, capitalism is fine, right? If you took corporations out of capitalism and it was people trading their skills and their resources, capitalism would super work. You would have niggas that open
it,
restaurants, you have niggas that open stores
because
that
that's exactly what I was gonna say. It's like in a time that is sanity, right? I couldn't go up and put a fence around the orange trees and tell people they can't fucking pick the oranges. The only way they could get oranges is if they toil for me, or
so what if
go out
the
and toil for somebody else and bring me the spoils of that
So what
toil.
if so what
That's
if
insane.
so what if the so okay, right? I get what you're saying, right? But what if the orange tree is on your quote unquote property?
Sure, but property can't be where I can own more property than every single person, and then if another person wants to go and get property, that entity puts them through all this rigmarole and says, yo, bro, at the end of the day, sorry, you can't have property. Oh, dude, that got all that property, yeah, that slot that they wanted here is for you, bro. Look what the banks are doing right now. The banks literally,
Right,
they can't buy up
corporations.
anything. They can't buy up anything more. So they literally started.
Corporations.
Corporations are buying
No,
houses, and the
no,
government is not
no,
telling them
no
things. What the
person.
fuck does
No,
what the
right.
fuck does
So
what the fuck does Oscar Mayer need to own fucking houses for?
because they
Residential houses.
because they're gonna
It's
have that's why
insane.
they're gonna put their slaves. And man, no, honestly, like think
Yeah,
about it.
no,
It'd be
no, I
like
know
yeah,
it's work for
and,
us
and,
and live here and pay us.
yep, and
Like,
pay
yeah,
work and pay the rent. But here's the thing, though.
yeah.
In a regular capitalist, like if it was just capitalism and you didn't have this corporatized bullshit coming to it, it would literally work. Like it would work. It would work
And a lot of my
because what you're saying wouldn't necessarily who would be able to buy up a whole like here in Vegas right now. You have all of these like Chinese interests buying up all of these properties, right? Like there's no that's a company. Like there's no person buying up all these properties. That's a fucking conglomerate.
and even if that like what I always jump to, and this is one things that I learned in college was globalism. Like once globalism hit, that game over in this type of capitalism. Because say for instance, even if corporations were like quote unquote regulated to a certain extent to like what society could deem a fair extent, right? Once globalism kicked in, oh bro, it was game. You see what I'm saying? Like nigga, like fruit from here that we eat in our stores comes from a whole fucking different continent. That's insane. When shit could just be grown here. You know what I'm saying? Like, and especially like when we if things didn't get so fucked up and thrown into a globalist capitalistic society, because everybody adheres to the shit, because even BRICS and all that stuff isn't not capitalism.
Yeah, it's capitalism.
The BRICS is just capitalism, just backed by going back to a fiat current, not a fiat currency, but a gold based currency,
actual
versus
resource backed
America,
currency. Yeah,
versus America, just fucking up
fiat
economics
currency
by
out the
just
out
fucking
the
printing
ass.
out
Yeah,
money. Yeah, just ridiculous.
that's why we
So
got to
that's
go to
what-
war. You do know that, right?
Nah,
That system's
look,
done. If we don't go to war, if here's the thing, that's what a lot of Americans don't get, which is funny, that they live in an empire, right? And the only way for an empire to sustain itself, and it's always been like this, is for it to eat, and it eats with war, like it consumes. That's all it does. Right now, America's currency with this whole BRICS bullshit it's showing the fact that it's not worth anything. That's the part of why the inflation is where it is, right? And it's to drive our enemies into a position to where they have to like still use they're economically pinched as well. It's not just about squeezing the American person. It's about moving this money around a certain way because they're desperate. And and the only way to get out of that is through war. That's it.
Yeah, and trust me, you know me and my stance on war. I don't think war, especially like global warfare, I don't think that shit should ever exist. But like in the year 2024, in the seat that I'm sitting in right now, I'm like, all right, man, fucking, can I plug my fucking PlayStation controller into the drone and do the drone strike? Because that's where we're at. Like you get like, what are you gonna like you said, we live in the heart of a fucking empire and that have satellite fucking nations all across the world.
Right.
If war goes down, Americans can't fucking quote unquote surrender. Like just imagine Americans got rid of their government and quote unquote surrendered to the powers that be. That would not be good. Not be good. All the satellites across the world of America said, South Korea was like, oh no, we're good, bro, we're done. Fucking other allied nations that were like, oh yeah, no, we're just gonna fucking throw up the white flag. You can't. Like it's that fucking simplistic game of Risk on top of Monopoly on top of fucking uh, fucking guess who, as far as who's the fucking puppet masters, and like it's just a list of fuckery that we live in, right? And that's why like it isn't a single thing that people can do, because like watch this. Black people, when it comes back to black people, niggas created the civil rights movement, Black Panthers, all different types of various organizations, and every single one of those organizations, if you go and look at their history and watch to where it was, there's a point where you can literally see the powers that be said eliminated.
Yeah.
eliminated the place in Philadelphia where a bunch of Black Panthers live, and they were feeding the community, and they had gardens, and they was doing all this stuff just to facilitate that community. The police department flew planes over there and dropped firebombs on the people, and then fucking killed them as they were coming out, women and children. And like that's before the internet. So like, what do? Just like you said, now even with the internet, oh shit, all they gotta do is shape your algorithm with some fucking new Sexy Red and Drake versus Kendrick Lamar beef, and tragedies just go kind of like, oh man, that sucks. But yeah.
So what?
Drake got a new song. Oh, like it's bad, bro. And this is the fucked up part about it, is that what people don't understand, that if that shit is bad for us, that shit is bad for you too. Just because you're not in it right there, you're next. You're literally next in line. And a lot of people are saying like the Hispanic and Mexican community. Look what they're doing to y'all peoples at the fucking border, bro. It's insane.
It ain't just they people, it's the people in general. But
I mean, when we know it's the empire in the city too, that's what it's doing. But I'm just saying, like all this, fuck these particular group. As soon as you say fuck that particular group, and fuck their toils, and fuck what they're aiming for, and fuck their upward mobility, you're saying that same thing to yourself, bro. Like just like right now, you can literally
not if they upward mobility is on the back of what y'all built. That's crazy, bro. I'm sorry, but that's insane.
You can look at the government right now, or just watch this.
You can have they put these people in black communities, brother. You get what I'm saying? They taking resources from your people.
Of course, where that's what I'm saying. Where else were they gonna put those people? They're gonna put those people in white communities.
So why the fuck? See, and that's the problem. Like, so we shouldn't be having niggas all at the border coming over here. Like, that's what our ancestors worked for, man. Like, what do you mean? Like, that's what my daddy and my mom worked for.
Show me a path in America where black people can prevent people from getting into America.
What do you mean?
We don't have that control.
You mean what can we stop people from coming over the border or coming into our community?
Black people don't control that.
We can control fucking city council. We can control who the fuck we put over there. We can make it so that we don't have something called sanctuary cities where you can come over here and you can live on the fucking resources that they're not even giving the people that are there.
I don't think we are the ones that are voting for sanctuary cities.
Who's voting for the Democrats in these black cities?
The Republicans wouldn't operate off of any different.
Who's voting for? Let's use Chicago as an example. Who's voting for city council in Chicago? Is that white people voting for city council in Chicago? That's not white people voting for. Who's voting for city council? Who's voting for city council? Who's voting for city council? And
sure they do. But did black people tell their city council to do that? Their city council, regardless of if they voted for them or not.
Their city council told them what they were going to do. You like, brother? Like I've been following politics. I've been following politics since high school.
Yeah, and but
That party
but I'm
told them we were going to have
okay.
sanctuary cities. We're going to make it so that people can come here and we're going to take care of those people. People thought it was okay at first, right? I even thought it was okay at first. I was like, yeah, like why not?
But
But here's the problem. It's not okay because it's not explained in a way to where I'm explaining it to you right now. It's not okay because when we sit here and we talk about resources being limited and how they're not helping people, like when we were talking earlier today, when we were talking about how, yeah, it should be that veterans are taken care of. It should be that you could be 60 something years old and you shouldn't have to worry about being homeless and stuff. It should be that. But when we sit up there and we talk about the resources and the government telling us that they don't have those resources for us and our people and our parents and our grandparents, but they have these resources for people that are not even citizens to come over here into our neighborhoods too, and then y'all are giving them money, y'all giving them places to stay, y'all giving them cars, taking mine. I'm a person that's depersoned once again. I can't even have a license, right? But you can let a person come over here, you're gonna give them a license, it becomes a problem, right? It makes you as a black person even more even more of a second class citizen than you were to begin with, because now you're behind people that are taking resources that you've been fucking pining for, that you've been fucking begging for forever. Fuck a reparations. We so far from that right now, it don't even make no goddamn sense, right? So when we sit here and talk about this, it's only your compassion can only extend so far if you're literally sitting up to because I promise you once again, if we're going to sit here and talk about how we're perceived around the world, they don't give a fuck about you. You understand? I'm sorry, they don't. Even the ones that are coming over, they don't give a fuck about you, brother. They don't care. But you being a bleeding heart liberal, I understand. It's like, yeah, like we have the resource. No, we don't. We obviously don't. We don't. My mom was just homeless last year. We obviously don't have the fucking resources. So if you letting people come over here and you putting them in fucking apartments, but my mom's a fucking veteran and she can't get a fucking place to stay, or she can't get a fucking, you know what I'm saying? Then that's when I start having a problem with it. That's when I start looking at this as like, no, this is insanity, bro. Like, you get what I'm saying? I'm not saying that for you. I'm not saying that's how you think of it, but I'm just saying
I just want to say this about it. I like exactly that. Like when they say sanctuary city and they're like saying like basically like they're not gonna let ICE come in here and crack skulls on people who immigrated to the country. A lot of us were like, yeah, that's fucked up. Like if this dude
absolutely
if this dude is working in America, he's committed zero crime and he's just trying to get by with his family and they're working
paying taxes, right? So all that shit, no problem.
So that's what I'm saying. The government, right? This is what they did. They flipped the script on that. Like, you know, like who's gonna vote? Who like as black people? Why would you vote for them to be inhumane to those particular people? So like the face value of sanctuary city isn't something that people would say, oh no, fuck that, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like just generalizing, right? Like they wouldn't say that. But then obviously with the government, it's never a quote unquote fair exchange, you know? As soon as like this shit comes around, now they're just bus loading people in here, letting people come over the border, and then letting a problem go out of hand. Because exactly, if you're going to do this for this group, you should have already been doing that for Americans. But the last 60 years they haven't been doing that for fucking Americans. Like veterans have been being treated like shit for ages, bro. Like these niggas literally will be homeless, living in fucking trees and bushes, and 90% of America just steps over them. Like, yeah, thanks for your service, fag. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's not new, right? So America just deliberately doesn't take care of its fucking people on purpose. And if it says, hey, we're gonna lend you out a hand to help you, it comes with massive amounts of stipulations. So even voting in something like sanctuary cities, right? It wasn't going to come without them having some type of interference. And now the interference is pitting black people and pitting black people and immigrants against each other.
Yeah, but you can't keep taking from us, bro. Why do we have to get the short end of the stick?
But opinion, you're saying that they keep taking from us. The government isn't even giving to us.
Right, I understand, but like, why is it okay? Right, I get it. But so it's okay for them to get it in?
Bro, I would never say it's okay for the United States government to just throw off fucking X amount of billions to fucking Israel, X amount of billions to fucking all these auxiliary countries that they continuously do all the time. Like these niggas literally fucking made bills in this last like 6 months to give three different countries billions of dollars.
Right.
And literally told Americans go fuck themselves. And Americans said, "Oh man, April 15th's coming. Man, I gotta pay my taxes." What the fuck? Like, just like I said, I see it from a corporation's perspective. Why would a corporation pay taxes in America when like the infrastructure of this bitch is falling apart? Roads is all types of fucked up and shit is just not even getting fixed. And then when these niggas don't pay taxes and then they're like, "Oh shit, bro, we don't even have to pay taxes because we just give this nigga 100K." Like, the corruption and everything runs deep. So me personally, when I know that this is the beast in the machine that I live in, I can't place the blame on black people voting fucking Democrats in Chicago as to why the government did all this. That's
So what do you? What? So black people get no blame. We have no culpability in our fate whatsoever.
Sorry, you cut out.
I'm saying you're saying we have no. Not saying that's what you're saying, but what I'm getting from this is we have no responsibility for who we are as people whatsoever, right? It's all everything. Every outside force is why we are the way we are. There's nothing that we can do. See, this is my problem with our mentality. There's no power there. That's a rape victim. I'm sorry. That's a person just laying on their back and just taking it. You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying?
And
I don't see it that way.
Hold on. I see how you believe that I see it that way, but I'm just understanding this is what it is. You're calling it the empire and pretending like the empire isn't just this insane beast. Like,
right, but
all the money that went to Israel, 80 a whopping percentage of Americans don't agree with that money going to Israel, whether it's because of the genocide view, whether it's like, oh, that's just a foreign country, let them deal with that, whatever. And all of that money went to fucking Israel, and there wasn't shit any group in America could have did to stop that. Nothing. This nigga Joe Biden literally is putting his fucking like risk of not being reelected. Cause like niggas were like, yo, you not ceasefiring and you sending these niggas money? We basically not finna vote for you, Joe. And he still sent the money over there. So that's what I'm saying. Like what could American people do about them sending money over to Israel? And not conflating the argument to a different one or not moving the goalposts, but I'm saying that like the control that Americans have, we do have it. It's the strength in numbers, and it's going and ripping fucking politicians out of that fucking capital and telling them to go fuck themselves. But until Americans do precisely that, all of this will continue to go on. Now, put black people at the forefront of, oh, we're gonna go up to the Capitol and rip these people out of the office and rearrange this nation. Oh fuck no. That literally, we literally said if January 6th had been black people, it would have been clap for days.
Or it would have been a massacre.
Yeah. So like that's what I'm saying. I get where it seems like I'm like, oh, just take it. It's not just take it, but it's understanding this is a fucking beast in the machine. And like I'm laughing, or not laughing at it, but my kind of like sit back on it is like, if we're seeing these things happen in real time, this shit has been going on for years. That this is the like, it's not even the conspiracy. Like America, like switched into like overdrive of not giving a fuck about playing in everybody's faces. Even more in the last 10 years. Like, they don't give a fuck, nigga.
Yeah,
like,
they don't care. That's why I say they don't lie. They tell you what they don't do.
They don't give a fuck about borders. They don't give a fuck about having little kids working fucking factories. Like, they don't give a fuck about
sex trafficking.
The whole industry, sex trafficking, fucking water in places like Flint, Michigan, fucking just being poisonous to the residents. Nigga, fucking all the shit going down in Florida, like, you know, fucking cop cities being built, fucking whole ass fucking parts of the government just not even fucking working when they don't fucking feel like. Nigga, America has never given a fuck. And like, that's like what I'm kind of like, I can't blame that on a particular group. I blame it on all Americans for not sitting up here and saying, hey, we burn politicians.
Yeah, me too.
Politicians don't in Nevada, if y'all don't do this for our citizens and every citizen has all of these rights, oh, if you don't do that, then we burn politicians. But what do everybody do? All right, just vote. All right, okay, yeah, at
November, yeah, it's a big election season. We're gonna vote, and oh, we didn't win. Oh, maybe we'll get them next time.
That's the problem. Like it's not it's not fucking the individuals. It's the fact that our government is so fucking corrupt and zero Americans are actually gonna step up to it. But the closest step up you have is because they wanted fucking Donald Trump to fucking do 4 more years. Like that's the closest you'll get in the next decade of niggas fighting back against this government. Because if they got all these trillions of dollars to send overseas, as soon as the group steps up, they just throw some little sprinkle of fairy dust on them. And they'll keep doing it. Give them free cell phones and internet. They'll keep doing it. $600 check during COVID. Look at them like that. Like niggas got pacified off of $1,200 during COVID. Pacified.
Yeah, they
Like
did.
straight up. Like,
Yeah.
and that wasn't blacks. That was everybody in America. Everybody in America took that $1,200 check and said, "Yeah, my rent's only $100."
So I guess a better question is, if the grid goes down, what are people gonna do if they start rounding people up in general?
Yeah, and I'm kind of getting at that, like, because I don't think, like, as much as black people sit where we sit in this conundrum, right? Like you said it before, and I agree with it. Is that they don't even just look at race anymore. They just like, y'all niggas can't do shit, so fuck you. Whether it's you're poor, whether it's you're disadvantaged, whether it's you're trans, whether you're gay, whatever thing that they don't like about you, they just lump you in there and it's just off with your fucking head. Like it's not like I don't even see it as like, oh, we're rounding up black people. It's just gonna be just people just shooting people in the street that they don't like.